Hey everybody, hello and welcome to the Thrifty Author. I'm your host, Gail Z and using a virtual background today because I'm not in my usual spot, so I hope you enjoy this view of the bay. Today, since we're at the beginning of 2021, I'm going to talk about a new year and a new why for your writing. Now, why you write may not be something you've thought a whole lot about, but maybe you should. And as I look at it, there are really about 4 different reasons people write, and you might be surprised at what they are. The first is somebody who writes just for their own gratification. They don't intend to show this to somebody ever. Maybe it's journaling, maybe it's poetry, maybe it is just writing essays to help them get their arms around some problem or an issue or something from the past or something that's troubling them. But this is straight from the heart. This is taking a load off your mind. It may just be for your own creative gratification, and for whatever reason, you never intend to share it with anybody. That is perfectly okay. It still makes you a writer. So writing for yourself, for an audience of one, is perfectly okay. And it's also perfectly okay if down the line, you decide to change your mind and maybe rework something and maybe put it out to a different audience. That's perfectly okay too. So the second reason for writing can be to get a story into the world, but without the intent to make a living from it or become a bestseller or even reach a large audience. Preserving the story is the goal in this case. Now, what do I mean by that? I ran across somebody who had self-published a book about his journey as an immigrant from India to the United States over a number of decades and how they were able to sustainably bring quite a few other family members over and what it meant to them and what their process was like getting used to this country. And it was a very personal story. He never intended it to become a New York Times bestseller. He never intended for it to reach a large audience. He wrote it and published it so that grandchildren in the family would know what the family heritage was. And that's also perfectly okay. He was preserving a moment of time. Maybe you've come upon a relative's journal from the Civil War or World War II, and you want to make that available for future genealogists or historians, or just because it feels like something that should be preserved in the world for the people who need to find it. That's perfectly okay too. So you're not trying to reach a large audience. You're trying to just preserve this story, this moment, so that someone who does want to read it later or who needs to find that information can find it. Perfectly okay. Now, the next level is putting a story out into the world to entertain other people, but not for profit, not to try to make a living off of it, not to try to shift into a new career, just for the sheer joy of writing something and sharing it with other people who will enjoy this. And this applies to really all of the fan fiction sites out there like AO3, which in 2018 or 2019 won a Hugo Award, which is pretty cool for transformative works. But this is the burning desire behind fan fiction, that there is a show or a movie or a fandom that you love and you've come up with a new story or an extension of a story or a fix it for a story, and you want to share this with other people who understand and who share your love for that fandom. And it's out there for free. You know you don't actually own the rights to the characters or the fandom. This is a labor of love, and you just want to make other people happy, entertain them and yourself, and have a good time getting deeper into the fandom, maybe extending a fandom that isn't on the air anymore or that has run its course. And so this is how the fandom lives on. Perfectly okay. That is really for your gratification and to entertain other people. So now a little wider audience, still no pressure to profit from it or make a living from it. And then there's the fourth level. This is where you set out to make a living from your writing, or maybe make a side income from your writing, or at least publish your writing in a for-profit way that people pay for your books, and you may get critical acclaim on reviews You may hit lists on Amazon or Goodreads. This is what we often think of as writing, but in truth, all 4 of these levels are writing. They're just writing with different intent. And throughout people's lives, they often hit all 4 levels, or at least 3 of the levels, and may go up and down depending on what the project is. So you can be a writer who makes a living from books and also write fan fiction. Many people do. You can be a writer who writes fan fiction, but then also comes upon your grandfather's World War II journal and decides to preserve it for posterity. Or any of the above, and just decide you want to journal for your own self-edification. Lots of ways you can mash up all 4 of these levels. But I bring it up because as we're looking at this new year, it helps to know what you want from your writing. Is this the year you want to break into selling your original works and maybe not making a living from it just yet, but venturing into being a paid writer, selling your works on Amazon and other platforms? Is it the year that you finally decide to put those stories that you've written on AO3 and share them with a fandom? Is it the year you decide that you're going to get all this stuff that's been clogging up your head and your heart onto paper so that you can analyze it a little better? Is it the year that you want to tell a story that won't matter to the world, but it will matter to a few people? When you know what you want from your writing, not only can you chase down the resources to do it your very best possible, but it also takes a lot of the pressure off. If you're not trying to make a living as a writer, if getting paid for your stories isn't your goal and you're perfectly happy writing fan fiction, don't beat yourself up about not doing anything else. If you are focused on breaking out and making a living from your writing, or at least bringing in an income from your writing, then don't beat yourself up that you worked up to this level by moving through the other levels up and down, back and forth. It happens to all of us. And no level is better than another level. They're just different. And they have different writers' needs and writers' outcomes. So as you head into 2021, think about not just your new year, but your new why, and make it the best you possibly can. I'm Gail Z. Martin. This has been The Thrifty Author, and I'll see you online.